Hey everybody, this is Battlestorm's strategy guide to Lady Deathwhisper. Get started here with explaining what the ads do. There's going to be two sets of ads. There's going to be cult adherents. There's going to be cult fanatics. The cult adherents have quite a few abilities. One of them's frost fever, not a real big deal. It's a disease that can be removed. Just remove it. Deals damage every 3 seconds and reduces attack speed by 14%. So needs to get rid of it. The curse of the torpor, this too needs to be dispelled immediately. Afflicts a random person, increases ability cooldowns by 15 seconds, so just get rid of them. The death chill bolt's going to do 6 to 8k shadow frost damage, which means shadow resistance and frost resistance not going to work here. It's just going to be a 6 to 8k shot, not a real big deal, just heal through it. Shroud of the Oculate. This is the bubble that you're going to see these ads have every once in a while, these adherents. And what this does is it's going to reflect magic spells back at the caster, so casters can't attack them when they have this bubble on. Melee have to basically do 50,000 damage to break the bubble before anybody can start actually doing damage to it again. Death Chill Blast. This is only used if the adherent has received Dark Empowerment from Lady Deathwhisper after the Shroud of the Oculate has been put on. This is why you need to down the adherent with the Shroud on first, because if it does get Dark Empowerment again, it's going to start doing 9 to 10k shots on random raid members, and it's going to do damage within 10 yards of that random raid member, so they need to be down. Adherents are most important here. Dark Martyrdom, it's a 4-second cast, can't be interrupted. It's going to explode once it hits the 4-second cast time, so just get away from them. Once the adherents are down, it doesn't really matter, adherent or fanatic, either one of them can be reanimated. This means they're going to be brought back to life by Lady Deathwhisper. So if the adherent is brought back, it's going to be 99% immune to magical damage, so melee only. Hunters, ranged, anything. Just can't be taken down by magic. The fanatics, they've got a shadow cleave. It's not a real big deal as long as it's only the tank taking it. It's 14 to 15k shot. Basically, if you're not the tank, stay behind the adherents so you don't get cleaved. Necrotic Strike, this is the main attack that the adherent or the fanatics use. It's going to hit the target for 70% weapon damage. It's going to leave a debuff on that person, basically the tank. That's going to absorb the next 9,000 healing taken. So whoever's tanking the fanatics need to be spam healed to get rid of this. Vampiric Might, it's going to increase damage done by the ad by 25%. It's going to heal the ad for 300% of its damage dealt. So dispel this, spell steal it. Mages can spell steal it. So it needs to be off immediately. And like the adherents, they're going to cast a Dark Martyrdom also, so just stay away from them if they're casting this. Like the adherents, they can also be reanimated. Only the fanatics, if they get reanimated, they're 99% immune to physical damage. So casters only. Basically, our strategy on this is we put our Boomkin and our Mage on Deathwhisper the entire time. To get through that mana shield. You basically have to burn through her mana shield, which is her entire mana pool, so 3.2 million hit points and 10 man before you get into phase 2. So we've got both of our casters on the boss unless the fanatic is reanimated, and then we'll pull our casters off to down the reanimated fanatic. There's also going to be that green death and decay that you see on the ground. Just don't stand in that. It does quite a bit of damage, and if you get 2 or 3 people in there, it's going to hurt. You know, the healers are going to get overwhelmed, so just don't stand in it. It's very easy to see, very easy to avoid. She's also going to do random shadow bolts, just something you have to heal through. Shadow resistance is good here just for that. Disc Priest, keep as many shields up as you possibly can, just to help out with the damage mitigation. Once her shield comes down, you can basically get everybody on her. She's going to gain a couple more abilities here. She's still going to do her death and decays. This time she's going to do a big AoE Frostbolt to everybody. It's going to do, it's like 9,000 damage to everybody in the raid. It's not a real big deal. You just kind of have to heal through it. Healers got to be on their game here. She's also going to do a regular Frostbolt. It's got a 2-second cast. It needs to be interrupted immediately. If it gets off, it's going to hit the tank for 50,000, and it cannot be resisted at all. So tank's pretty much going to get one shot. Tanks. She's going to be doing a stacking debuff on you guys. What this does is for each stack, and it stacks up to 5 times, for each stack, it's going to reduce your amount of threat by 25, or your amount of threat that you can build by 25, or by 20%. Sorry, can't talk. So main tank, whoever picks up the boss first, when your stacks get to 3, you need to call it out. Off tank needs to taunt. Wait for his stacks to get up to 3, call it out. Main tank taunts. Back and forth the whole time. Because once you hit 3 stacks, you're dealing 60% less threat. So DPS is going to catch up to you pretty quickly. You guys also, like that, need to avoid the death and decays. The last ability that she's going to be able to use in her phase 2 is that little ghostly thing you see on the left side there. That's going to randomly target one random raid member. And if it gets anywhere in melee range of that raid member, it's going to explode, and it's going to deal 15,000 damage to anybody within, I think it's 10 yards. So whoever it targets needs to kite her around. This fight is not difficult. It's all about ad management. DPS, just remember the less damage you take, the better, because healers are going to be, on their toes as it is. Just make sure that you keep your ads under control, and you're fine. It's not a difficult fight at all. Just keep an eye out.